Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to look at a tank that is not as good as some people think. And that, again, as I always say, is my own personal opinion. There are going to be some people out there that think I'm talking absolute crap, that like the tank, but I'm just talking against my own opinion. You know, everyone has their opinion. And one tank that I don't think is very good, and some people probably don't realize it's not that good, we are talking about the Emil II. Now, it's a shame because the tier 8 version, the Emil I, and of course the tier 10 version, which is the Kranwagen, are both very, very good tanks. Both very, very strong tanks. The Kran, the turret is crazy. The tier 8, the turret is crazy. However, the tier 9, it isn't so great. So we're going to have a look at the stats of the tank, and then we're going to get into some battles. So as you can see, the turret 180 millimeters thick, so 125 on the hull. But if we go and have a look at the tier 8 version, which is the Emil I, I'm probably going to, I mean, it's the same. It is the same, but the difference is you're coming up against tier 10 with this tank, whereas on the tier 8, you're going to come up against tier 7. So it's a massive difference. And where you go to the Kranwagen in tier 10, then it is that, I mean, the turret's amazing, 225, but you've got to remember this is base, so you might be able to get it higher. It depends on your angles, etc. But overall, with everything taken into account, the tank is, in my opinion, quite weak compared to the tier 8 and the tier 10. So if we look at the stats, so we've looked at the armor, 175 millimeters. The DPM 1947. Reload time between each shot is 3.53. The shell for the shell 1 10.8, shell 2 9.52, shell 3 9.52. It has got 3 shells in the magazine, and again it is an auto reloader. So it's not an auto loader, it is an auto reloader. So you can reload 1, you can reload 2, or you can reload 3. It is totally up to you. Penetration 252 on your standard on your APCR, 300 on your heat. I would probably run it with calibrated shells. I'm not at the moment. To be honest, I don't know why. There we go. We're going to put that on, and your penetration does go up to 265 and 330. So penetration is all right. You know, that you can make do with that. Average damage 400 for your first for your APCR, 340 for heat, and 515 for the HE. Aim time 3.7. I mean, that's not too bad. Gun dispersion is 0.344, and it does, however, have a 9 degrees of gun depression, which isn't so bad. But just playing the tank, I mean, it doesn't feel as nice as the other tanks. It feels like everybody is penning my turret. Everybody just bullies you, you know, and unless you're up against tier 8s, then a lot of the time you will get bullied in the Emil II. Now, the way I look at it is, when I am playing either tier 8 or tier 10, if the enemy have an Emil II and it's pretty much almost in front of me, am I scared of that tank? Am I worried? Like now, this Badger, I'm scared of a Badger in front of me. Am I scared of an Emil II in front of me? No, I'm not. I mean, easy pen there, no problem whatsoever. Probably my fault, but it was still an easy pen. So we are... it's difficult because I'm literally comparing this against both. I know it's not going to be as strong as the tier 10, but if you look at it compared from the tier 8, I mean, the tier 8 is very, very strong for a tier 8 tank. And yeah, you just grind the tank, and then you get to tier 9 thinking it's going to be the same kind of mega strong tank, and it really isn't. It really isn't that strong. Obviously you can have good games. I'm not saying that you can't have good games. You can have good games with any tank. Like, it doesn't matter. It all depends on how you play it. Again, it all depends on the team, the enemy team, your team, you, if you're in the right position. There's a lot of things that you need to take into account. So you could still have a good game in a bad tank. That is not the problem. But just overall, I don't get excited about playing the tank. It's not a tank that I would sit there and think, you know what, I'm going to play this tank. I'm going to play this tank. Whether it's a tech tree tank or not, I'm going to play it. I don't do that in tier 9. There's plenty of other heavies out there that I would prefer over the Emil II. But yeah, again, what would I change? I really don't know. Like, at this point, I don't know what I would change. You can still get the odd bounce, as you've seen. I mean, we've bounced 350. We are getting penned. Of course, that is a tier 10. But if a tier 10 comes in front of you, they can penetrate you just about anywhere. I mean, your turret isn't that strong compared to the other tanks. And I think that Wargaming should have really, if there's a strong tier 8, then Wargaming should have sort of stuck by that and made this a very strong tier 9. Make it a strong tech tree, you know, but they've kind of made it, you know, really strong and then dropped down and then made it really, really strong again. It's not for everyone. I get that, and it might be a tank that's just not for me, but considering I love the Emil I and I love the Kranwagen, I can't see why I wouldn't also love this tank as well. But it can still be a decent tank. You can still perform well in it, as I've already said. You can take the worst tank in the game and still perform well in it. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Like, is it a tank that you like? Is it the worst out of the line? I mean, I'm not sure. Obviously, you can't really compare this to tier 7s or anything like that, but overall, I think it is a little bit weak. It is a little bit weak. Maybe the turret needs a bit stronger. I don't know what to change. I don't know what we would change to make it better. But considering the tier 8 and the tier 10 have both fantastic turrets, whereas this is, in my opinion, just ever so slightly weak. And that's probably what I would change. Make the turret just a little bit stronger, like the other tanks in the tech tree. So we're just going to have this game. We are against tier 10s. I mean, there's only 2 tier 9s. Don't even know why I took that shot. Just don't even ask me why I took that shot. So as we are playing this game, let's just talk. Let me know what you guys think. Like, what do you guys think about this this tier 9 tank? Now, tier 9 overall is probably my favorite tier, if I'm honest. It is my favorite tier because there are a lot of tier 9s out there. And if you play tier 10, I mean, a tier 10 is most people's favorite tier because that is the ultimate goal, is to get tier 10. But for me, it just becomes, you know, you're coming up against tier 9s every time. You're top tier every time. Whereas tier 9, yes, you're going to be bottom tier, but you're also going to be top tier. And it sort of changes each battle. Sometimes you could be top tier, sometimes you could be bottom tier. And now, when you are bottom tier, there are a lot of tier 9 tanks that can hold their own against tier 10s. And of course, when you come up against those tier 8s, then it does become a lot better. There's loads of tanks. I mean, look at the things like the Waffle. The AE Phase 1 as well is a really good tank. If anyone manages to get their hands on that, it's going to be extremely difficult, but it's possible. Just not so, you have to be very, very lucky. And I think the Emil II, it's okay against tier 8s, but as soon as you come up against those tier 10s, then, well, tier 10s that have a brain cell, then it does become very, very difficult to play this tank. So just one tank left now. It is a struggle to get quite a bit of damage in this tank. I'm not going to lie, I do struggle. But again, overall, I don't think the tank is absolutely fantastic. I'm not scared of the tank if I come up against it, even if I am sitting in tier 8. It's not a tank that I worry about. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all very soon. Bye-bye. With